How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today I do kind of have some issues and some things I do need to go over, and more so some questions that I have for you guys. So if you for some reason know a lot about two valve engines, or maybe you build them or you've built some in the past, or whatever the case may be, I do have a really kind of big question, because I know a lot about cars, but I don't care how much you know. I mean, you're always still going to pretty much learn stuff. I mean, it kind of goes with anything in life. But one of my things is, if you did watch my last video, the car seems to be burning a little bit of oil. So that obviously is a few things that could actually be wrong with the car. So in my case, I think I have called it really early, and I don't think it's going to be anything major, because I think it's literally just valve seals that goes around the stem. If I do go ahead and pop the hood, I can show you what I did replace, because if you did watch the last video, I did end up replacing something, and I thought it was going to do the trick, but it didn't. Also, I did finally get some new floor mats. They're literally just some charcoal ones. I don't know why it's like showing up brown on the camera. Sucks, because I was trying to get the same floor mats as my last ones, because I just hoping that I could buy something and it would match. That it would match the old ones, and it didn't, because that's more of a charcoal. The old ones were black. But whenever I went to the actual company that makes the carpets, I looked at how much like those were that was in the car from the previous owner, and like just to redo those, it's like $350 or something, and I'm not about to pay that just to replace one mat. So these that's in the car now, they're like 140, and I just went in and threw them all in the car. They're more of a charcoal. I mean, they match the interior more, but they're just like a cheaper material. But anyways, back to what I was saying. If you watched the video Monday, you will know that I did take off the intake, and then I would replace the PCV valve right below. I don't know if you can really see down in there, but it is really dirty, so I do apologize for that. But I went to go drop a package off at the post office Monday, and it was funny because my car, like normal, it smokes whenever you're backing up in reverse. But there was some guy that was like beaming my car, and he was really wanting to buy it, because as soon as I walked in the door, he's like, turns around and he's like, "You want to sell that thing?" But turns out, I mean, I ended up talking to him for a little bit, and turns out he's had a couple new edges and everything, and he was saying something about pistons. That's probably why he was trying to buy it, because he was like literally just drooling over how clean the car is, and he was probably trying to buy it because he thought I was going to be like willing to let go with it if it was like something major, and he could just easily flip it or whatever the case may have been. But with some of your guys' help from the last video and just doing more researching, because like I said, I do know a lot of stuff and I've learned a lot of stuff. I'm not as smart whenever it comes to like actual engine building and everything, so I don't know as much as some people, but a lot of people are saying that it's happening to their cars. And the more I looked into it, it is pretty common, kind of, which I mean, these cars are 20 years old, so I mean, the motors are also 20 years old. So stuff like this is very, like, I guess, understandable for something to fail. Now, I think I've narrowed it down to valve stem seals. So it's literally like less than $100 for the parts. But the thing is like, if I was to get somebody else to do it, I'd be probably paying a lot more than I would be willing to. So that's basically the question I'm asking is, one, as many of you know, it's 3 weeks until Mustang Week. So this car doesn't smoke that bad. I mean, literally the only time that it really does it is whenever I'm backing up into either a parking spot or like I showed in the video Monday. So if it's only from that case, I don't think it's really cracked that bad. Oil is still full, so I mean, it's not burning enough. My question is, would you drive it 3.5 hours to Myrtle Beach, because that's how far it is for me, and driving all the way around down there and back? Would you trust that? Because as far as I've researched, it seems like pretty much as long as you stay on top of how much oil is actually in the car, then you should have no issues and you can pretty much drive it around. So that's the first question is, would you drive it down to Mustang Week? Would you feel comfortable? I mean, yeah, I know it's gonna smoke, whatever. I mean, that's a given. I'm not really worried about that. I'm just worried about getting there and back. But I'm really wanting to take this car, and that's the only issue with it. Obviously, I'll be doing something whenever I get back, which is into my next question is, I know I can replace these myself. Like I said, I'm not as smart when it comes to engine building. That kind of does make me stray away from doing it myself a little bit more, but I'm still not like entirely sure if I want to pay somebody else to do it, because the more I've researched and some videos I found, turns out you can actually replace those without even dropping the heads. It is kind of easy, it's just a tedious job, and you don't want to mess something up, obviously. But I could replace it myself, and I could get away doing it. Or if you have, for some reason, replaced it with, say you work at the shop, or you took it into a shop, how much did they quote you? I love building cars and everything, but engine building isn't really just something that I'm like all giddy about and really itching to do. So I'm not that big of a deal if I don't do it myself. It's just, I don't want to pay a certain amount of money. And if it is for some reason a high price, I mean, is it really worth even doing it? Because like I could just keep driving the car around, then I could either swap it or whatever the case may be. But like I said, I think I have found the parts. I mean, I haven't really researched that much about like which part to go with or whatever, but I found it for like $90 or something. I don't even remember who it was or what the brand was, but I mean, it was literally just valve stem seals, and I think it was designed for the stock head and all that. And another thing that I was seeing is like, while you're in there, you might as well go ahead and replace the springs because you're already taking those off anyways. I just feel like my issue is if I did take it to a shop, they're gonna charge me for whatever their quote is for taking the head off. Because I mean, I know you can easily drop the valves if you don't take it off, but I feel like they're gonna just quote me like way more than I'm willing to pay because, well, they can. For some reason, if I could get everything done in time for Mustang Week, but if there's 3 weeks now, then that means that like I'd have to order the part tonight and then hope that it gets here. I'd either have to pay more for shipping or hope that it gets here in time. Somebody that doesn't know what they're doing, is it really that smart to be taking an engine apart 2 weeks before I'd be leaving somewhere? Like, probably not. So I guess let me know your thoughts. I mean, as far as I know, I mean, I don't think it's like really hurting the car anymore than it is. I mean, unless obviously if it was a really big leak, then I would understand that. But I don't think it's that big of a leak because, like I said, it's literally only if I'm like backing into a spot or I've been sitting at idle a ton in like a drive-through line or something, then that's whenever the smoke will come. Even if you search up a video on YouTube of like the issue that I'm having, it's not as bad as like the videos are showing in their cars. So I think I'm really in the early stage of it, or it's just barely cracked, like just enough to let some oil go by. So I guess let me know your thoughts. If you was in my shoes, would you just go ahead and send it and drive to Mustang Week? And I mean, go ahead. I mean, I can top it off with oil if that's the case. I mean, that's not that big of a deal to me. And also let me know, I guess, if you have done this, how hard is it? And then also, if you have paid a shop to do it, how much did they quote you, no matter when the time was? Because I know prices elevate and everything. Just please give me some information about this because I'm really in a predicament because I don't want to sell a car, which if it is something further than the seals, if it is actually something wrong with the piston, I don't really know what I'm going to do in that situation because I don't know if it's really worth rebuilding the 2 valve, in my opinion. Maybe it is. I mean, if it's cheaper than putting a different motor in there, then sure. I mean, that's what I would do. But if it's like I can't find like a 4 valve or something to slap in here, because I'm going to be honest, and I'm not ready to do the Coyote yet because there's so much stuff that goes into it other than just a motor. I could find a 4 valve for the same price as if a shop like quoted me, or if there was like a piston or whatever the case may be. If there's actually something serious wrong with the car, then obviously that's another issue. Which I will say, I haven't done a compression test or anything, so I mean, it could very well just be the stills. I mean, that's kind of what I'm leaning towards because it's not like that much smoke, so I'm just leaning towards the seals. Or it could also be something more major, but only time will tell, I guess. Like I said, really the big question is if you was in my shoes, would you trust the car to go 3.5 hours, drive around all week down there, and then 3.5 hours back? I mean, I've just drove to Virginia, so I mean, nothing really happened other than whenever I was parking, and I drove back, nothing happened. So I'm fairly confident the car's gonna make it there because I still daily drive the car. I've still beat on it a ton since I've had this issue. I noticed absolutely nothing different in the drivability since I've had this issue. So let me know what you guys think. And this video could be really stupid because like I said, I don't really know what I'm talking about. But if you guys could just leave me some information down below, and that would really help me out a lot. I know it's a different kind of video today, so I do apologize for that. But it is something that is kind of serious, and I do need to kind of have an answer sooner, that way I can understand if I am going to be taking this car or if I need to try to figure out some other kind of plans or whatever the case may be. So if you could, just please leave a like and comment down below, subscribe, do all that good stuff. It helps me out a ton. And I guess other than that, I guess I'll catch you guys in the next one.
No!